The type of person who struggles with social media and doesn't know what kind of videos they need to be posting for their personal brand, this video has the potential to change your entire life. This could be one of the most important modules. Mindset, it's one of my favorites. Having self belief in yourself was pivotal for my success online. It's been pivotal in my success in life in general, but finally having conviction in my actions is what set me apart from the rest. I actually believed that what I was doing was important. And I think at the end of the day, there's endless reasons to quit. You know, no one ever sees my videos. I've been posting for so long and there's still no following. There's so much of that like entitlement that goes on social media, and people shoot themselves in the foot for having a really poor mindset. People say they're really cringe. My friends probably think I'm crazy. The ability to find the reason to keep going is what strengthens your mind, keeps you on track. So one way to do that is to find a why. So why do you create? What am I doing this for? For me, I basically crafted this why, and it said empowering creatives through self-development. And that was me before I even grew any sort of following. I knew I loved self-improvement and I loved like self-help books and things like that. And I wanted to implement what I learned from those books and help me in life with my creativity and like my painting and you know all that. So who do you serve? I was serving creatives. I was serving anybody who was afraid to pick up their passions. I was serving people who let life maybe like maybe let life get in the way and they couldn't figure out what they wanted to do in life. So they saw me create and that inspired them to do it as well. Having that strong vision anchors consistency during the uncertain times. So anytime I was like, oh dude, like my friends are probably thinking I'm like cringe. It's like, it's fine. I'm not really making this for my friends. If it helps them, perfect. I'm making it for them. But at the end of the day, social media and interest media isn't for your friends anymore. Like you're not posting photos for your friends to swipe up and be like, cool weekend you had. You're actually doing like you don't have to do this for the big overarching theme, but like even if you're just making like comedy videos, you're serving people who want to laugh. You're serving someone who wants to be entertained. So if you could think about it in that way, and you actually want to, take your like maybe you're doing music, maybe it's to get someone out of a depressive rut. You want to make music to make someone feel better that day. So kind of understanding why you're doing it can really reframe what it means for you to create, so that when you do come across the time where you're like, oh dude, I'm really cringe right now, or like no one's following me, like it's almost purposeless to keep going, then you can remind yourself that like, okay, I'm here to empower creatives through self-improvement, you know, and that's what I always do. And that's the one thing I think actually kept me going, because before I would be really consistent for like 1 or 2 months and I would quit for like 7 or 8 months. And I would just do that process over and over. And my friends would call me out on it. And they'd be like, dude, I love your content. I love seeing your paintings or whatever it was. And I would be like, yeah, man, I'm just really busy, started a new job, all this other thing, all these other things. But what really kept me going when I actually went all in was, first of all, going all in in my mind, having conviction in my actions, but growing that self belief in myself through the actions I was taking and growing that trust that I lacked. So over time, the more times you quit, the more times you have to reset, the more times you pretty much lied to yourself in a way. So if you can stick it out for longer than you're used to, like maybe you usually do like a 3 weeks sprint, and then you like notice those kind of like those inconsistencies about yourself, then that means you like lack this trust with yourself to keep going. And the minute you can start to gain that trust back and start to believe in yourself, you'll find that self belief. So that's really what I was trying to do, is like untether all of these winded up cords of me not trusting that I could actually get something done because of how many times in the past I've failed. So reworking that in your mind and realizing that you can literally set the intention to just not fail again. And you might fail, but you'll, in the long run, you'll end up trusting yourself a lot more. I heard something in a podcast once that was like, imagine if you had a friend that like all the time just kind of like lied to you, and like it wasn't huge lies, but it was like little ones. It was just like, yeah, man, I'll be there at this time, and then like they didn't show up, like they were always late or something. You would probably start to not trust them. But imagine if you were literally that person, you were that friend, and anytime you were like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go fold the laundry real quick, and then you got distracted, you started doom scrolling. That's like a little tick in your mind, whether or not you accept it or not. It's lacking trust in yourself. And like maybe you do end up folding the laundry that day, but it wasn't at the exact time that you told yourself you were going to. And that's going to actually what that does is compounds. It kills you with 1,000 little cuts. It compounds into this lack of trust with yourself, so you have no self-belief, and you kind of like corner yourself into this like feeling of regret. Like, I don't know, it's not regret, but it's more like you corner yourself into this feeling of like almost like you're your own biggest enemy, and you basically, it just happens as a vicious cycle. Either way, if you can unwind that kind of cord, that will help you so much, because that's what really set the difference for me. So, growth over perfection. Emphasize learning, iteration, and embracing mistakes. This is a huge experimental learning process. So it's not going to happen up front first time you post. If you go viral the first time you post, first of all, congratulations. But at the same time, it's kind of not good to go viral too fast, because if you don't know why you went viral, or you have no reason you did, then you're going to be chasing that same sort of dopamine over something that like was a super outlier. So I think it's best to kind of grow slow and embrace the mistakes and use them as data points, and emphasize the learning, like learn the hooks, learn all these different things, be open to those things. That's all about growing a strong mindset. It's about resilience and actually like testing different things. It's not about like sitting there and posting the trial reels and being afraid to post to your audience. Like, post it right in front of your audience. You're not going to know anybody. You're not going to annoy anyone. And if you do, they weren't supposed to be there in the first place. That's step one. Purging the people that don't want to be there in the first place. Because if they are there and they don't engage with your stuff, but they are being shown it by Instagram or whatever platform, and they're not engaging with it, that's deeming to the app that it's not worth anyone else's attention as well. So if you can get the people that are like secret haters, or any of those like people from high school that, just kind of watch and they don't like engage with anything, get them out of there as soon as possible. And the best way to do that is just to post a bunch, so that all they're seeing is you, and then they'll eventually be like, I'm done with this, and it was never meant to be anyways. But yeah, so having an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset means you can also achieve the same success as someone else. Just because they've done it doesn't mean you can't. The It's actually a indicator that you can too if someone has already done that thing. If it's available and it's out there, that means that you can actually achieve the same thing as them in the right situation and scenario. So trust that there's space for everyone, and everyone has a unique voice. And you know, the most, I said it last night on my story, but the most like the asset that's going to be the most here soon with all the AI is going to be you having an authentic voice online, because it's all going to be chalked up with these people who are using ChatGPT for every script that they use. They're using like, they might even be using AI people to be talking here soon at like basically for every instance. And if you can stand out and have, maybe a speech impediment like me and have stutter sometimes, no, I'm just kidding. Um, and you can actually stand out and grow your unique voice. Like we said before, self belief and identity, build confidence through evidence, having small wins. So realizing that like anytime you post, it all starts to compound on each other. Anytime you make a input or a story post or a post or whatever it is, a reel, it's always going up in an upward linear fashion. So you're compounding growth no matter what. It's If you post something, you're growing, because there's one new viewer, one new like, one new person that could be, engaged in your journey. And I think realizing that is what saved me, because at first I was painting every single day. And if you know anything about painting, a lot of the time creative block is a thing. So when you're creatively blocked, it's almost impossible to paint. And you can sort of force yourself out of that, but it almost leads to like bad paintings. The thing is, you can make videos and not feel the creative block sometimes. Yeah, you'll still feel like a little bit of a creative block, but it's not the same like painting. Sometimes that's just is unbearable. And I just realized that if I can keep posting a video per day, maybe I'm not growing with my art, but I'm growing online no matter what. So it's always beneficial to keep going. And if you're brand new, I'm not gonna recommend you post every single day. I realize that this thing cut off at a weird point, but yeah, if you enjoyed anything I said, you felt like you resonated with it, if you want to work one on one with me and grow your personal brand online, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I answer every single DM personally. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, thanks for watching. Sorry I cut off at a weird point. I'll be posting more things like this. This is kind of straight from my coursework and my video guides. So just trying to put as much value as I can online. Thanks for watching.